Yo, welcome in, welcome in. I think I got my volume straight out. Hold on. Yeah, I think I got it straight. I moved my mic a little bit. Welcome in, man. Today is January the 23rd, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is the NBA ChrisBeCappinn show. Live on Twitter, live on YouTube as well. Just trying to get some cash, man. Trying to cash some NBA tickets for today. I don't really like the slate as much, but we do got 7 games, so let's go ahead and jump into them, break them down, see if we can find some value. I got a couple plays that I put in already. I'll share them with you guys, and then anybody else who got anything that they want to share, I'll definitely pass the baton and let you guys share your analysis behind the plays that you guys are liking as well. So let's jump right into it, man. Let me get my notes pulled up really quickly. Got the screen pulled up. We still waiting on some news for some of these games, but based on what we got, I'm gonna give you guys what I got already based on the information that we got. So um real quick, let me just check and make sure I didn't miss any. So we got Jonathan Isaac will be limited to 8 to 10 minutes. So he's coming back today, making his return, first time playing since the bubble for the Orlando Magic. Not gonna play as many minutes. And I think that's the last thing that we got. So let's jump into it. So first game up, hit the like button for me if you guys can, all that stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys haven't already. First game up, let's go to this Celtics and Magic game. So capping this one last night, looking at it, the line just keeps coming down in favor of Orlando in these spots. We know that the Celtics have played the Magic 3 times already this season, haven't covered one of the spreads so far. They did win one of the games, but lost outright back-to-back games in Boston earlier this season. You could also argue there's a potential look-ahead spot for Boston tomorrow. They do play the Miami Heat tomorrow. Of course, Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon are ruled out, with Robert Williams being listed as questionable in this one. And the Orlando Magic, they're 5-0 against the spread in their last 8 games following an ATS loss. So this team, they if they go out and have a bad performance, they typically bounce back and bring something in that next game. And I kind of look for them to be able to do that in this game. They had, like I said, they've covered all 3 spreads against the Boston Celtics this season with 2 outright wins. They were catching 9 points, 13 points, and 11 points in those 3 games. And like I said, they've covered every single spread. I think that they do match up well. Boston will also be without, their best defenders in this game. I expect Robert Williams not to play. And the reason why I expect him not to play is because they have a bigger game. And I don't think that they want any setbacks. This team is really, really good. We know that the Celtics are a really good team. But at the same time, you got to keep in mind what the long goal is, right? We see players resting at an all-time high right now. We see a lot of teams, sitting guys when they probably can play. So it wouldn't surprise me if, that training staff and that coaching staff, especially with Robert Williams already, getting banged up, even though he missed, the first 2 or 3 months of the season. I would think that he rests in this game. I could be totally wrong, but I think even with him, I think that they probably go light on him today. So because of the injuries, I think Brogdon's just out because of personal reasons. Not 100% sure why, but because of it's no Marcus Smart. I mean, this team does have a no quit mentality. I think if you guys watch the game on Saturday when they went to Toronto, you just see the next guy up man mentality. Peyton Pritchard off the bench. Grant Williams had a really, really big game in that game. Jaylen Brown, second game back after the injury, he came on strong. So, they're definitely not going to lay down and roll over. I expect them to win the game, but I think Orlando can keep it close. I played Orlando last night when I first capped the game because I thought the line would move in their favor. And I want to say I got a 7.5, which is what it's still at right now. I'm about to check real quick and make sure. But I know I played Orlando plus a 7.5 in this spot. And in all my plays, just for the people who do tail my plays, I know some people tail my plays, some people don't. All my plays are pretty light for the day, and they probably will be for the foreseeable future. Just because the NBA is, man, I'm trying to make sense of the parity that we see, and it's difficult. It's difficult to figure out how the Golden State Warriors go to Cleveland and beat Cleveland Friday with Cleveland with Golden State resting their guys and getting the win, and then coming back home last night. They got a full roster and then they lose to the Brooklyn Nets. So like it's I say it all the time. The NBA is kind of janky right now as far as taking the sides. So I'm not betting a lot of spreads. I'm not betting a lot of totals because typically I like to play unders. And if I place those bets, they are going to be smaller plays for me. So just reduce your unit size if you're following my play specifically. But I did bet Orlando last night. I bet them plus 7.5 minus 110 last night. The Orlando Magic. Also in this game though, I'm looking at Tatum, man. I think it's a big game for Tatum tonight. You look at Tatum. So let me see. So I think Tatum gets an increased usage today just because there is no Marcus Smart, no Malcolm Brogdon. I also think that Tatum being out there, he's the guy. He's gonna have the highest usage rate, and Jalen Green's I'm sorry, Jalen Brown is going to be second. What I'm looking at specifically with Tatum, though, it's not necessarily his points. His points have been juiced, and not to say that he can't go out here and score 30, but like I said, this team is on the first leg of a back-to-back. They play tomorrow, and they typically perform well on the second leg of back-to-backs as well. But you look at his player combo. I'm looking at his rebounds plus assists specifically. Tatum is at 13.5 right now. It's a minus 115, minus 120. His so we need 14 combined rebounds plus assists if you're gonna take Tatum in this spot. Last game against the Warriors, he had and we know he rested the other day, right? This will be his first game back. He sit out the other day because of the wrist injury, and that may impact his shooting today. I'm not worrying about how many points he scores. I think like I said, I expect Robert Williams to sit out, which will mean more rebounds. He had 19 rebounds and 6 assists, which is 25 rebounds plus assists in his last game. 14 the game before that against Charlotte. So cleared this number in 2 games in a row. He had 15 the game before that against Charlotte. So 3 games in a row. He had 16 against Brooklyn. So 4 games in a row. He had 14 against the Pelicans. That's 5 games in a row. 15 against Chicago. That's 6 games in a row. And it just keeps going on, right? He missed it against San Antonio. That was a sleepy spot. Last game of a road trip. I remember that game. Where he just scored the ball, didn't really get too many assists. And like I said, I think it's because Brogdon and Marcus Smart is out. So I like Tatum. I like him to go over his rebounds plus assist line. Played that one as well. I don't know. Oh, he did get ruled out. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, if you like that line, you should have jumped on it at the 13.5. Like I said, I anticipated him not being in. I see the game just locked up. I'm not even 100% sure why I locked up. Maybe we got the news. Williams just got ruled out. Appreciate you, Jonathan. Yeah. And I figured he was going to get ruled out. So, yeah, hopefully people put that one in if they wanted it, 13.5. But Tatum rebounds plus assist line, minus 120, I think it was recently. And as I expected. So, that's what I got. Those are my 2 favorite plays in that game. Tatum typically rebounds the ball better. I would look at Grant Williams props as well. If they do become available, I know sometimes the books are kind of stingy, but I think he can have a big game here. I'm not too big on Al Horford this year, but one of those bigs are going to step up for Boston tonight. I mean, they have to because the Orlando Magic have a lot of bigs as well. So that's what I got for you guys. There two plays in that game are the Orlando Magic plus the 7.5 and Tatum over 13.5 rebounds plus assists in that Boston game. So next game I want to talk about is and I'm not going through every single game today, just to kind of shorten the show, give you guys, some of my top looks, but I'm not going through every game. The Bucks and the Pistons game, not a game that I'm really interested in. Typically, it's just team total overs for the opposing team. I talk about all the time how bad Detroit defense is. It's their first game back after the London game where they, went all the way out there to get smashed. They could have just stayed in Detroit for that. Went all the way out there to get smashed. But I don't really like the spot too much for the Bucks today. They should get everybody back. Not 100% sure where these guys are going to be. If Giannis is going to be on a minutes restriction, if Middleton is going to be on a minutes restriction. I mean, this is a championship caliber team, but they haven't had a lot of time to really play together too much this season. And I think the numbers for the Bucks, as far as the totals, are inflated. Total has only went up in this game. The total is all the way up to 124.5. And that's not to say that the Bucks can't score that many points, but because scoring has been so so prevalent in throughout these games, and teams aren't playing defense, there's something to taking these lines and these teams just come out flat. And if you take a first half total of 62 and a half, and the team somehow scores 25 points in the first half, then you kind of out back. I did it yesterday. Gave out two plays. I was on the Knicks first half team total and the full game team total, and the Knicks scored 20 points in the first quarter against a Raptors team yesterday that was on their second leg of a back-to-back, fourth game in 6 nights as well. So because of that, you kind of want to, just kind of make sure you have enough support, right? Don't just do it just because they're playing against Detroit or just because they're playing against the Rockets, right? You got to make sure that team is going to be motivated in that spot as well. And I got an interesting query that I want to make sure I share with you guys towards the end of the show too. So nothing official for me in this game. Killian Hayes, I see, did just get ruled out, which is going to make it, even more difficult for this team to score the ball today, because he is their leading point guard without Cade Cunningham being there. It could really be a massacre now. Like, this one could really, really get out of hand. But like I said, haven't seen Chris Middleton play in quite some time. And Giannis also has missed, I think, like the last 5 games. So I didn't have a lot in that game, but I did just want to kind of share my thoughts there. I don't want to get trapped on the number. I think the totals, like I said, are a tad bit too high if you didn't get them when they first opened up, when it was at 232 and a half early this morning. So over 232 and a half, probably so. But I think it could be a little difficult for Detroit to score the ball now without, one of their primary scorers. So they're going to be leaning on Alex Burke. There should be a lot of value here. You definitely want to take some of those guys for Detroit that can actually shoot the ball, because, it's going to be really difficult for Detroit to score inside the paint with Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis down there. So, maybe some of those shooters. Not quite sure what form Detroit is going to be in. Like I said, first game back off the game in London. So that's what I got for you guys there. Don't want to take too long on that game. Next game, I do want to talk about the Atlanta and Chicago game. Chicago also, coming back from London. I don't really have a lot in that game. I can't trust Chicago as a favorite. We all know that they perform a lot better as a dog. Also, really can't trust Atlanta. Losing to Charlotte the other day. I think, I don't know how many people watched that game the other day, but that was a brutal loss. You lose to a Charlotte Hornet team at home after you had won, 6 of your last 9 games, and you lose without LaMelo. Like, certain spots in the NBA are brutal, which is why I said I'm kind of staying off the sides. We know Chicago is one of the worst 3-point teams in the league. So maybe you look towards Trae Young, threes to go over. He typically has shot the ball better on the road than he has at home as well. So nothing I have in my pocket, but I'll be looking at Trae Young assists in this. Trae Young points, threes specifically in this game, and maybe somebody else from Atlanta as well. But I didn't play anything in that game. Moving along, I do want to touch on this Timberwolves game though, because I feel like I got a pretty good read on this one. So Timberwolves and the Rockets. This Timberwolves team is playing well right now, man. Timberwolves been balling. They're 7-3 in their last 10, 7-3 straight up as well. I'm sorry, straight up and against the spread in their last 10. And the Rockets, man, they've been pretty much. I think it's safe to say they're the worst team in the league. The 10-36 on the season. 6 of their 10 wins have come at home. They also have 15 losses at home. They are 10-1 against the spread at home, but 0-10 in their last 10 and 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 as well. I think I don't know if we have any official news. Let's see. Nemhard, Donovan Mitchell. I know there was still injury news. Waiting in this one for Jabari Smith Jr. questionable with an ankle injury, and then on the other side too, like Rudy Gobert is questionable with a groin. He didn't play in the game. These two teams did just play on Friday, I think it was. He didn't play in that game. Excuse me. McCauliflin still is out. Of course, Cat's still out. And then Taurean Prince is also listed as questionable. I just feel like this is a game that the Timberwolves got to win. And one of the things that I was looking at is, and one of the things I think is weird, I talk about the parity in the NBA, right? You see these teams, they win a game, and then you want to back them because you feel some kind of confidence in them, right? Like they've been playing well, or at least they played well in the last game. Like, okay, cool. Now they got a spot where I like them again, and I should be able to take them because they won that last game. This was something that I fell into on on Friday because I gave out the Heat money line as my only spread play, and they go to Dallas and don't even look like they ever showed up. They could have just skipped the Dallas game and went straight back to Miami. But I think there like I said, it's a lot of parity in the league. You don't want to necessarily take a team just because they look like they're in quote unquote good form, whatever that looks like. But I do think there's something to back in the Timberwolves. So one thing I looked at earlier was I looked at the Timberwolves I looked at all the teams after they were coming off a previous win, away win, and then so you went on the road, and then you're a home favorite. And let's see. A previous home win, and then you go on the road and you're a favorite. And you see a lot of teams don't do well in this spot, right? So you get a win at home, then you go on the road and you're expected to win. A lot of teams don't do well in this spot. If you're watching on YouTube, I want to show you guys this because I think this is something that we continue to have to monitor this. What I have pulled up here is the Timberwolves so this is after they previously won at home and then they go on the road. We can see here that this team is 3-1 against the spread, 3-1 straight up, and they're actually winning these games, right? So 3 wins in a row. They beat the Pacers in this spot, they beat the Jazz, and they beat the Rockets in this spot. And now they get the Rockets again. So they've already beaten the Rockets after coming off a home win. And the Rockets, they, just not really trying to win a lot of basketball games. You also see that this team is 4-0 to the under in this spot as well. So what that tells me is if you look right here at DPA, this is delta points allowed. How many points they allowed? Every one of the teams that they played against have gone under their team total in their next game. So Timberwolves win at home and then they go on the road and they're a favorite. And every single time that this has happened, the other team has failed to go over their team total. You see that they're only giving up 103 points in this game. And what's interesting is this, right? So if you take that out and you just look at all the teams in this spot, right? So we sort it, right? Let's see who is the worst team in the NBA after a previous home win. They go on the road and now they're expected to win the game as a favorite. The Suns, 0-3 in this spot. The Mavs, 0-4. And all this is against the spread. These teams are not covering at all, right? And this is the parity I'm talking about. The Bulls, 0-1. The Heat, 0-1. The Nets, 0-2. The Hawks, 0-2. Thunder, 0-2. Rockets, 0-1. You see the Nuggets on this list. One of the best teams in the NBA. Only 1-6 after they have a previous home win, and then they're away favorite in the next game. The Warriors, we know that they don't travel well on the road. 1-4. Raptors, 1-4. Cavs, 1-2. Bucks, 1-2. So where we're expected to be able to back these teams, this trend right here shows you guys that these teams do not play well. A lot of these teams are really good teams. I'm talking about the Hawks. I'm talking about the Nets, the Heat, the Bulls. I wouldn't say that they're great, but the Suns, the Mavericks, the Bucks, like these are really, really good teams. And the teams that you feel like, sometimes you can't trust are the teams that's winning. The Wizards 1-0 in this spot. The Knicks 2-0, right? The Kings 4-0. The Timberwolves 3-1, and the Grizzlies 5-2. So 5-2-1 in this spot. If they're the actual favorite, and most of those losses did just come too because they've been getting smacked up on the road recently. But I think this, I just wanted to pull this and I wanted to show you guys because I want people to know that just because a team won in the last game don't necessarily mean, especially if they were it was a home win, doesn't mean that they're going to go on the road and do the same thing, perform at that same high level that they did when they were at home. But as you guys can see from the trend, the Timberwolves are a team in this spot that you can kind of back. So I like the Timberwolves in this spot, man. I think it's a couple different ways you could play them. If you know anything about the Houston Rockets, which I don't expect a lot of people to, the Rockets are a good first half team. They play well in the first half, and then they just kind of let down. They I think are the lowest scoring second half team in the NBA. So I think if you have the opportunity to live bet this game, I do think that you could see what the spread is at halftime and remember what the spread is before the game, right? So it's 5.5. That's without everybody being ruled in. And I do think that they cover that number. I think that if they don't cover that number, whatever the live line is, if they are keeping it close and interesting at halftime, then you just take the live spread. I think you could also take it at the end of the third quarter because the Rockets, I think, are the worst fourth quarter team in the NBA as far as as far as scoring. So what I got written in my notes is I played the under, so I got it at 234. And it's for a lot of reasons, but I'll just read from my notes. Timberwolves 8-3 to the under in games when facing an opponent they've already beaten this season. You look a little bit deeper. They're 4-1 to the under when playing in a road game versus an opponent they've already beaten. So it gets even better on the road. 4 of the 5 opponents have gone under their team total in that spot. Another interesting stat is that the Timberwolves are 4-0 to the under as an away favorite after a previous home win. I just showed you guys that on the screen. All 4 of their opponents have failed to cover their team total. Timberwolves are 6-3 to the under as an away favorite in general, only allowing 108 points in that spot. 3-0 to the under when the total is set at 230 or higher, and all 3 opponents have gone under their team total as well. The Rockets are averaging just 109 points per game in 6 games without Kevin Porter Jr., hitting their team total in only 3 of those games, but all 3 of those games were against teams that play with pretty fast pace. Those teams being the Lakers, the Kings, and the Hornets. And then you also get the Rockets and the Timberwolves. They've played twice already this season. Rockets have gone under their team total in both of those games and failed to reach more than 105 points. Without Kevin Porter Jr., I just don't see them being able to score. Jabari Smith Jr. also listed as questionable in this one. And I said the under for the full game. I'm sorry. I played the Rockets team total under 114.5 is what I played. I think this number shifts if Rudy Gobert gets ruled in. I think the total comes down. So if you like the number, I will go ahead and jump on that now. But I don't think that the Rockets score a lot of points in this game. Also, I think, like I said, I'm going to end up playing the Timberwolves. I don't know if I'm going to do it live or I'm going to do it before game, but minus the 5. The Rockets are just 1-10 against the spread when the total is set at 233 or higher. They just can't score the ball. They're one of the worst, I think the worst scoring team in the league. So when you see them with a high total, it typically goes under because they don't score that many points. They're also just 1-8-1 against the spread when the spread is between 3 and 6. So if they're a 3-point dog to a 6-point dog, they've only covered 1 time out of 10 games. Also 0-6, like I said, I didn't say this, but the Rockets are 0-6 ATS without Kevin Porter Jr. this season, with each loss coming by at least 8 points. So spread only 5.5. I like the Timberwolves to kind of keep it going today. I did play the team total under for the Rockets at 114.5. Moving along, this Spurs and Blazers game, I really like this game. I think there's a lot to like in this game. You get the Spurs team coming off the loss on Friday to the Clippers, so they should be looking at 2 days rest, I think. And they've been covering, man. The Spurs have actually been like pretty competitive. They are only 2-8 in their last 10 games, but they have covered 7 of the last 10 spreads. This team is 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. Portland gave up the 25-point lead last night to the Los Angeles Lakers after, going crazy in the second quarter. This team, I'm watching them closely. Their offense is, going through lulls at times. They defensively, they really can't stop big men. They continue to struggle. And they continue to struggle with anybody that's, ultra aggressive. Nurkic is also kind of, it looks like being played out of his role by the backup center. I forgot what his name is right off the top of my head, but so I think it's some rotational stuff as well. Dame is really struggling against teams that have good perimeter guards. I think we saw that yesterday with Patrick Beverley. He also struggled against Philly the other day as well. And I actually played San Antonio last night as well. I took him at 9.5 when it first opened up. It's down to 8 now. I see some 8.5s out there as well. I think Portland gonna win the game. I just don't know if they win by margin. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like I said, San Antonio, to me, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 tells me that they've been extremely competitive. But I know more people probably here for props. So what I got for you guys there is I'm going back to Trey, man. I like Trey a lot in this spot. Trey Jones, looking at his assists. I don't know if the alt line came out yet or not, but I wasn't playing his assists at I think it opened at 5.5, and it was extremely juiced. So let me go in and see what it is right now. Give me a second. Yes, 5.5 minus 148. I don't do too many minus 148. So I would go straight to 6.5 plus 122. So let me give you guys the numbers behind that. So Trey Jones, point guard for the San Antonio Spurs. His assists 6.5 plus 122 is what I'm gonna end up playing. I also got 8 assists plus 210 in my bet slip as well. So 8 assists in 2 of his last 3 games, and 4 of his last 5 games versus the Blazers specifically. He has at least 9 assists. The Blazers allowing the 3rd most assists to point guards last 7 games and the 6th most assists on the season. Last 7 games, Trey Jones is averaging 6.5 assists on 12.2 potential assists. Last 3 games, he's averaging 7 assists on 11.3 potential assists and playing 32 minutes. If you look at the recent guards versus Portland, they're giving it up, man. James Harden had 14 last week. Darius Garland, 10. Luka, 10. Dennis Schroeder had 8. Jamal Murray had 7. And that was in the same game that Jokic also had 10. So I think Trey Jones being the number 1 distributor here is, calls for him to go over his assists. I like Trey Jones to go over his assists. Didn't take his points because the Spurs, I've been taking his points in assist line, but the Spurs do a really good job at defending defending guards. So I laid off of his points. Trey Jones has also been struggling from the field, but I still couldn't talk anybody off his points plus assist line. Like I said, total, all the way up at 240.5. Typically, those are the games that you want to play a lot of props to go over in. So I like Trey Jones. I played his assists, like I said, I'm going to play his assists over 6.5 at plus 122. That's going to be an official play for me as well. So I talked about Orlando plus the 7.5, Tatum over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. Also Spurs plus 9.5. I think they keep it at least closer than that. Trey Jones over 6.5 assists, and that's good money right there. That's plus 122. Love the plus money plays. Also in this game, looking at this game, staying on the same side of the ball, I love Jakob Poeltl in this matchup. Jakob Poeltl points prop is sitting at 12.5, and I'll give you guys calls for pause first. The pause is that Jakob Poeltl is sharing his minutes load with Zach Collins, the backup center. Zach Collins has been stealing a lot of his minutes recently. With Popovich is more of a system. So as long as you can, play within that system. So people don't want to tell this one. That's totally fine. But looking at Jakob Poeltl, his point prop was at 12.5 when I played it earlier, minus 106. He scored at least 13 points scored 13 points or more in 4 straight games dating back to December the 2nd, 2021 against this team specifically. In the earlier matchup this season, he scored 31 points in Portland in 32 minutes. In the last 5 games, he's averaging 14 points on 26 minutes. The Spurs are allowing a league most 32 points to centers over the last 7 games on the season. They're also allowing 26 points to centers on the season. Last 7 games, they were allowing 32. Both of those are most in the league. You look at recent performances, for centers against this team. Jokic just had 36, Embiid had 32. Last night, Thomas Bryant had 31. Jared Allen hit up for 24. Christian Wood had 23, and the list kind of goes on and on. So give me Jakob Poeltl over his 12.5 points. I also would sprinkle on Jakob Poeltl 15 points. I think it was like plus 165 when I looked at it earlier. I think he could get there tonight against this team that lacks that interior presence from being able to stop people. So like Jakob Poeltl, that's official play for me as well. Next play, same game. Anthony Simons on the other side. His threes over 3.5. Played these at plus 104 earlier. This one's pretty simple. We know that the Spurs are one of the worst teams in the NBA as far as allowing shooting guards, small forwards, point guards to shoot the three-point ball. Back-to-back games for Anthony Simons this season, cashing his threes against his team. He hit 5 in both games against the Spurs, shooting 9 and 10 times. He shot 7 for 13 last night against the Lakers. San Antonio is playing at the 6th fastest pace in the league, so he should get plenty of opportunities tonight. This is also a 3rd straight home game, so he's being able to shoot on the same rim. He's averaging 4 makes on 9.7 attempts at home, which is good for 41%, versus just 34% on the road from shooting from 3. So, I always talk about fading, guys like Anthony Simons who don't necessarily shoot the ball as well. So 34% from 3 on the road, but he is shooting 41% at home. Give me Anthony Simons over his 3.5 threes. I also played his 5 Like I said, all these are smaller plays for me, but I did play Anthony Simons 5 threes. That's probably my favorite ladder spot today. 5 threes was plus 250. I took 3.5 and I took 5 for Anthony Simons tonight against San Antonio. So 3 plays in that game I like. Trey Jones over 6.5 assists, Jakob Poeltl 12.5 points, Anthony Simons over 3.5 threes. If you guys want to make it like a little small same game parlay, I think I couldn't talk anybody away from doing that. I think that's a really, really good idea. And that's it, man. That's it. The Grizzlies and the Kings game, very conflicting game for me. Man, so Memphis is 8-2 in their last 10. Problem is they 0-2 in their last 2. Lost to the Lakers on Friday. A game I thought that they would show up yesterday in Phoenix. They absolutely don't show up at all. I can't cap the motivation for the Grizzlies. They're a really, really good team, solid. I don't know what it is. I really wanted to play them yesterday. Thank God I didn't, because I think they had 37 points at halftime against a Phoenix Suns team that is still missing Devin Booker, Chris Paul. His first game back yesterday. Memphis just does not look motivated. I don't know when they're going to be motivated. I listened to the post-game interview yesterday. Coach Taylor Jenkins saying that, they have to start off better. They have to, take these games serious as well. I just don't know when it's going to happen, because you would think that it would happen yesterday after the loss to the Lakers on Friday in a game that no way the Lakers were supposed to win that game. They were losing the whole game. They had no shooting. Dillon Brooks did a really good job on LeBron, and somehow they still end up losing that game. So you would think that they'd be motivated against the Phoenix Suns yesterday, and they're not. The Kings, I can tell you, I don't think that the Kings going to overlook Memphis, because Memphis been smacking the Kings. So I don't think that the Kings going to overlook Memphis. Also, Memphis, the Kings are coming off a really, really bad loss as well, and I expect them to bounce back. This team lost on Saturday without James Harden and without Embiid, and they were up by 25 points in that game before Maxey just went crazy. So really, really difficult game for me to kind of cap for us motivational wise. If you're playing against Sacramento, typically you can get whatever it is that you want in the paint. Sabonis can't really defend. They don't have a bunch of, a lot of other big guys down there. Memphis does a lot of their scoring in the paint. And then you get, I look deep into this game, all just to find out that, as of, I think maybe an hour ago, Ja Morant and what's the guy name? Steven Adams both popped up on the injury report. Both of them listed as questionable. So who knows, man? It's just really, really difficult game. I do think, like I said, with Sabonis being listed as questionable, I'm sorry, with Sabonis being down there, he's the primary guy for this Sacramento team. I think, with Steven Adams in, it can make it difficult for a guy like Sabonis. But without Steven Adams in, I think you do have to look to a guy like Brandon Clark. Whatever his rebounds is, whatever his points plus rebounds is probably what I would look to play. Couldn't talk anybody off his double-double in that spot. Sacramento they struggle to play defense. I do think you get a motivated team in this spot, though. I think both of these teams should be motivated, which is why I'm kind of off of the game. The only game tonight where you have two teams that's both above 50%, like both teams have above 50% win percentage. Memphis is number 2 in the West, with Denver being first, and Sacramento, crazy enough, they're actually 3rd in the West. Like I said, a lot of parity. They're just 26-19, but they're a lot better. Coach Mike Brown has them playing a lot better than I think a lot of teams, thought that they would. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at the game. Charlotte and Utah, I know I didn't really talk a lot about that. Not a game that I'm extremely interested in. Didn't even really look too much into that game, but like I said, top plays for me today, what I am looking at and what I bet already, I kind of just shared with you guys already. That would be Orlando plus 7.5. And like I said, if you join late, none of these plays are extremely big plays. I don't know when I'm gonna make a big play. It's going, when I'm gonna get back to a full unit size. It's just kind of crazy right now. Like I talk about with the parity in the league, man. It's a lot of things going on, a lot of teams coming out unmotivated, and it's really difficult to cap the motivation, which to me kind of, makes me want to hold off just a tad bit. But I did put something on Orlando plus the 7.5. Tatum 13.5 rebounds plus assists. The Spurs plus 9.5 last night. Trey Jones over his 6.5 assists plus 122. Jakob Poeltl over his 12.5 points. And Anthony Simons in that same game. Like I said, I like that game a lot. Over 3.5 threes, plus 104 when I took it earlier. And then his 5 threes as well, plus 250. Just a sprinkle on the 5 threes. But like I said, he's done it twice already this season. San Antonio not playing a lot of defense, up and down, fast paced game is what I'm thinking. So that's what I got for you guys, man. Based on the card for today. If you guys got any looks that you want to share, send me a request and I'll get to as many people as I possibly can in the next about 30 minutes. I'll probably get off at about 6:30 Eastern time. So send me a request. I'm gonna get up as many people as possible. Hit the like button for me. Let me go through the comment section. I see people going crazy. I ain't even look at the comments. I was still stuck. Let's see. What up, Zoned Up? JR Sports. What up, Andrew? Let's see. Solo said really like Derek White, double plus 1250 on FanDuel with Smart and Brogdon being out. He had 10 assists on 17 potential assists in the only game this season with both of them out. That sounds like a good look, Solo. I'm gonna go Tatum route, but I can see both of them potentially scoring. Orlando not trying to play any defense, and I think Boston defense probably takes a step back too. Probably be looking towards the over in that game, but I don't have a play on a total. Matt Stoney said Hachimura to the Lakers, major advantage LA. Absolutely. I wasn't gonna talk about that, man, but I like the addition of Hachimura. It definitely doesn't take my Lakers to the next level, but it's an upgrade, especially when you get rid of Kendrick Nunn, who really just been out there. We probably didn't make the same amount of 3-pointers for the Lakers this season. So yeah, I like that. Let's see what else. What up, Fremont? Markel said waiting for that Bobby Portis double line, looking like so I can sweat it. Yeah, I mean you should get good odds with especially with everybody being back if you like that, Markel. Anybody leaning DeJounte 25 plus? I could see DeJounte going crazy tonight. They don't really have it. I'm pretty sure Ayo Dosunmu probably ends up guarding DeJounte. They probably put Caruso on Trey is what I'm thinking. But those guys should eat. I would go back and check the game logs as well. Yeah, the query is crazy. If you guys jumped in late, man, go back and check that query out when I ran it because it's definitely a crazy one. Sengun is that guy, bro, for the Rockets, fading Jalen Green. He doesn't like playing against Memphis. He actually has a really, really horrible record as far as being able to catch his points prop. I'm glad you point that out, J-File. Jalen Green. Sengun, my problem with Sengun is that his line is so juiced. I think his points, rebounds, and assists was like up to 36.5, 35.5 when I checked it earlier. And if Rudy Gobert comes back, I could see Rudy Gobert making it a little difficult for him. He did play well in that game on Friday against him. Brian said the Blazers are dead to him. Backup center is Drew Eubanks. Appreciate you, Stoney, because I totally forgot who that was. But yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for sure. Pat definitely said Dame Watch was broke. Put it in his pocket for sure too. Yeah. Let me get to some of the plays in the space, man. Send me a request, man. Let me get my guy Dream up first. Let me get Bookie up. Let me get D-Gen up. Mr. Risk It All, I'm coming to you. Yeah, I'm coming to the guys. Dream, what's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
Man, what's the vibes? How you?
What up, Dream? I'm good, bro. Trying to find some cash for the day, man. Little Monday cash. What's going on, Dream?
Ain't nothing, man. I'm loving that Hachimura move. I think it's good. We need a little athletic wing with some youth. So,
nah, that's a fact. That's a fact, Dream. I saw the the number that we haven't had a 40% catch and shoot 3-point shooter in the last 2 years on the Lakers, and Rui Hachimura has been that for the Wizards 2 years in a row. So definitely like that, Dream. I think getting to LA, we definitely got some talent, so we can help him develop as well because they weren't developing him over there, and he never was gonna get the playing time because they trying to keep Kuzma, even though Kuzma don't want to be there. So yeah, I'm with you there, Dream.
Yeah, I only got a couple plays. I ain't got too much. I'm gonna just start with Sengun. You was just talking about, bro. I played his over 5.5 assists, minus 122 this morning. I'm not sure what it is. It might be I know it's juiced as hell on FanDuel. It might be better on DraftKings, but it's a pretty simple handicap. Since KPJ been out the last 6 or 7 games, he went over the number all the games. They pretty much running the offense through him. He had like 15 potential assists last game that they played, which was the last game, and that was in let me see. Yeah, he had 7. He finished with 7, either 6 or 7, and he had 15 potential assists. So he's going over this number. I love it, and he's played myriad of minutes. So he's 28 minutes, 38 minutes. So if he get in foul trouble or if it's a blowout, he can still go over the number. So I love it. Plus, last but not least, Anthony Edwards dunked on bro twice.
Baptized them.
It was a lot of talk. You know, Ant, man, he gonna talk his shit. He don't be trying to hurt nobody.
He said, "Hey,
shit.
Jay, he said he did it for his girlfriend because it was her birthday."
That's what I'm saying. He's probably serious. So Sagoon, like, he ain't no punk. So he might drop a triple double tonight. I can't talk you off that neither. So I love the over 5.5 assists. And the second play is a kind of piggyback off of what you was talking about with Hurdle, but I'm a go with the backup, Collins. His points and rebounds. I played they over 14.5. I also laddered his points to 15. Well, you can't ladder much, but you can get 15 points at plus 500. And you can get his double plus 1,000. I played that. And I laddered his rebounds. And the reasoning is pretty much the same exact reasoning you gave for Jakob Hurdle. The only reason why I pivoted because I was doing, I was doing my research and I was about to play Hurdle, and I'm still going to play a little bit of Hurdle, but I just found the odds to be better for Collins. So basically, the last two games they like split in minutes, 24 piece. And this is a revenge game for him. He was drafted by Portland, so I went and looked at what he's done since he's played the 3 games since he's played them. He's averaged 13 and 10. Last game it was like he had like 8 and 7, 8 and 8, something like that. But he's taking a lot of shots. He's getting a bunch of free throw attempts, especially in the first 2 times he played them. So I don't know if he's going to get 24 minutes tonight, but if he get 20 plus minutes, I mean, in the last 5 games, he's had a 30-point game, if I'm not mistaken. He's had a couple monster double-double games in the last 10 games, if you look at his game log. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. So I love the over 14.5 points and rebounds. And I also sprinkled all his ladders and double-doubles and stuff like that. As far as, like, blunt money plays that I just like to give out, I just gave y'all Collins. Harrison Barnes. I laddered his points and threes simply because I've been watching a lot of Kings games, been doing a lot of SGPs, and if you look at his last 7 games, he's gone over 25 for them. He's had 6 threes twice in his last 7 games, 5 threes once, and 4 threes once. So he hot as hell right now, playing some of the best ball of his career. So I sprinkled his ladders. And it's one more person. Hold on. Oh, Tatum, triple-double. You spoke about it. It was perfect. All those reasons. Somebody just gave out the Derek White. I'm going to tell that because, yeah, he did have 10 assists, but Tatum had 8 assists that game as well. So that's why I sprinkled the Tatum triple-double at plus 2,000 at FanDuel. I couldn't get it at DraftKings, so that's what I'm on tonight.
Yeah, Dream, you got some sharp looks, bro. You got some real sharp looks. And I saw the Collins, and it almost kind of talked me off Pirtle, but I said, yo, they even took Pirtle line and put it up. I'm like, yo, they even took my man line and put it up. I feel like they know something I don't know because he ain't even been cooking like that. So that's why I took him. But I could, like you said, Dream, I couldn't talk you off Collins. One of us gonna cash for sure tonight. Hopefully, it's both of us.
I think both, bro. I really think both gonna cash. I'm pretty sure, especially Hurdle points. I love that points look because he can get that in the first half.
Yeah, for sure. Good, solid looks as always, Dream. Appreciate you, bro, for sharing these, man. It's always like the sharp people that's always doing their homework as well, man. I come out here, I always, talk about, my plays and share my looks, but there's people that's doing the same research I'm doing better research than I'm doing, got different resources. So definitely like when people, back their plays with analysis, and shout out to Dream, man, for making the show better. Always appreciate you, Dream. Let me kick it to DJ real quick, and then Bookie, I'm gonna get you what up. Get you up. What up, DJ?
What's up, Chris? How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm the Wizards fan, man. That Rui trade ruined my day. I have to talk about it quickly since someone brought it up, bro. Like, you guys are getting a great piece. The Wizards suck at developing guys, and they didn't do anything with Rui. He's pretty much the exact same player. He's not the exact same player. He has improved, but the Wizards, they don't give him a good chance in the rotation. And I mean, Kendrick Nunn is ass. I've watched him play the last couple. Like he has some decent spurts, but like Oh my God, what an awful trade! The Lakers fleeced the Wizards, man. So congrats on getting Rui. It's one of my favorites.
Hey, DJ, and I appreciate that because we done got fleeced a couple times, so I appreciate when we can get over on somebody else.
That's facts. But tonight I'm with you, man. I'm with you on Simons over 3.5 threes. I love that play for everything you talked about, and I like the Timberwolves, and I got them in a parlay tonight, like you said. But I really like this Kings Grizzlies game tonight, man. I like the Kings. I snagged them on the money line at plus money earlier today because that was before those two guys got tossed on the injury report. I think you have to sprinkle some on Sabonis triple-double, especially if Steven Adams is a little banged up with the way he's been playing. But, the spot I really like in this game tonight, I like Kevin Huerter over 2.5 threes. And Huerter's a really underrated guy just because he plays for this Kings team. And this Kings-Grizzlies matchup tonight, I really think the Kings, they're going to treat this like a playoff game. As weird as that may seem, it's the end of January, but this is a team, not too many people pay attention to them. They're out in Sacramento. Not too many people watch them. And they're the number 3 seed in the Western Conference right now. And I've watched them a good bit the last month. They have insane chemistry for a team that's rarely played with each other. They're a really fun team to watch. They have a lot of good moving pieces. I know someone just came in and mentioned Harrison Barnes. I got him in a little same game parlay for that tonight. But I really like Huerter over 2.5 threes tonight. He's got a favorable matchup versus Grizzlies team, and that allows the 7th most threes a game to shooting guards. And Huerter, when you think of Kevin Huerter, you don't think of a top shooting player in the league this season, but he has been. He's shooting 41.4% from three. He averages 2.9 threes on 7 attempts, which are both the 5th highest in the NBA. And in his last 2 games versus the Grizzlies, he's put up 7 3-point attempts in both games. He hit 3 and 4 in both of them. And I love this play even more with Sabonis being back. That helps free up those shooters along the perimeter. And, Huerter, he's already averaging 3 threes a game in his last 10. And both teams rank in the top 6 in pace. There's going to be a lot of scoring opportunities. Vegas has the total set at 246.5. That's one of the highest totals we've seen all year long. And like you guys said, the Grizzlies are playing on second night of a back-to-back. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 2-6 in their last 8, and the Kings are the complete opposite. They're 6-1 in their last 7, and I like the Kings the money line tonight, and I like Huerter to roll tonight. I think he's going to be cashing threes. But appreciate you, Chris, and I'm looking forward to these plays tonight. I think Simons is going to be a good one, and I didn't ladder it yet, but I think I'm going to have to ladder it, man. I'm going to ride that with you.
Yeah, just a little sprinkle DJ on the plus 250, man, because he done hit 5 already 2 games, and if he hit, he's capable of hitting, 3 in the first quarter. So I feel like I gotta, put a little something on it. I also feel like the Spurs, I feel like Portland defense not good enough to really stop San Antonio. So I expect San Antonio to be able to score in this spot as well, which to me just means that Simon's gonna have to be on the floor, I don't see any blowout in this game. So reason why I kind of sprinkled on San Antonio plus the 9.5. And like I said, I think Simon's gonna need to, cash all 5 of those threes tonight. So I like the spot for him a lot, DJ. And I hope you cash him, and I like your looks, bro.
Yeah, thanks, bro. And I'm with you. I think the Spurs keep it close. And it's funny how gambling Twitter likes to say Simons is like slumping and everything. Like he's not hitting his over threes, but he's still averaging like 3 3-pointers a game over his last 10. Like people got to relax because they lose one single bet. Like,
right. No, that's a fact. That's a fact, DJ. That is a fact, bro. If you want to bet on him, you definitely want to bet on him while he's hot. You definitely want to bet on him when he's playing a team like the Spurs, and you definitely want to bet on him when he's at home, when he's shooting 41% versus only 34%. He's averaging 4 makes at home versus just I think it's like 3.2 on the road. So definitely back you there on all those points as well, DJ. And best of luck to you. Hope you cash the plays, my brother. Bookie coming to you, and then Frag, I'm coming to you, and then Zell, I'm coming to you. What up, Bookie?
Yo, how are we doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Tonight, I'll start with the overs, so people don't get mad. Keegan Murray over 4.5 rebounds. You can get a great price on points bet. That's the main reason I took this for the expected value. Minus 130 there. It's minus 145 on DK, and then 150 plus, or minus 150 and up on Fox, SB, and Caesar. Adams obviously not questionable after that fall onto his knee. That just drastically affects Memphis rebounding overall, being so great at boxing out and all. Keegan Murray, ever since mid to late December when the Kings started putting Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray in the lineup. He saw a big jump in his rebounding. He's averaging 5.5 rebounds on 8.9 chances in January, compared to his 3.5 on 6.4 overall in December. And then with Barnes, is the same thing, averaging 3.9 in January now, as opposed to 5.1 in December. From my view, I think it's because Harrison Barnes, as we all know, he's a good defender. So it just gives Keegan Murray more chance to kind of roam on those 3-point shooters at the 3-point line, to just run down and grab those easy bounce rebounds that bounce right to him. Just the other night when Sabonis was out, I think he had 14 rebounds, stepped up big. And then the very next game when Sabonis was back, he had 10. So I really like this line, especially with the price and the expected value. So I took that for a unit. Another play I really like tonight is Jalen Green. I got under 29.5 PR. That was also minus 130 on PB. I saw it jump down to minus 20 or under 28.5 at minus 110. I actually like that price better, even with the number being down a point. I know Jabari Smith Jr., he's questionable, but this line seems to be set as if he's not playing, as he's only over in 3 of 10 games in the last 10, going under in 2 games versus Minnesota in that span, putting up 10 and 14 PR. He's under this line 4 or 5 games without KPJ, only averaging 22.33 PR. That's the real reason I think that Jabari Smith's not going to play. The line just being so high. And even if it does, the line will only go down, so grabbing it there is great. Minnesota also allows both the least points and rebounds to shooting guards over the last 30 days, giving up minus 5 points and minus 1.3 rebounds to the average. So a big differential there. Another play I really liked tonight was I got Paolo this morning at 17.5. Just seeing that number next to that name just made no sense to me, especially knowing with Boston down 2 of their best defenders and potentially their most pivotal defender in Robert Williams. So I even like the 18.5. I think it's minus 105. The best price, so I like that there. Probably my favorite play tonight, Giannis under 12.5 rebounds. This was also on points bet, minus 120, positive EV as well. The line was minus 135 on MGM and Win, and it jumped down to 11.5 on Barstool and Fox. Giannis coming back from a knee injury. I don't think Budenholzer is going to give him unnecessary run in a game. That could be a huge blow, especially with Detroit just coming back from their overseas trip. He's over in just 2 of 12 games versus Detroit over the last 4 seasons, averaging only 9.9 rebounds and seeing an average of just barely over 30 minutes, just because there's so many blowout games in those logs. He's over in only 2 of 7 games with Middleton this season, averaging 10.3. In the 5 times since 2019, Giannis has missed multiple games and returned back from injury. These are his logs. He's had 8, 12, 12, 5, and 10 rebounds, going under in all 5. Detroit allows the second most rebounds to power forwards, but that didn't concern me when I was looking through the logs. All players almost going under their average, just mainly because blowout. Detroit obviously losing a ton of games on a crazy amount of points. So I really like that play. I really like that even down to 11.5. And then I also took this the Kings money line right away when I got that news. Shout out underdog notifications, just for the chance to maybe middle or get some ARB money.
Okay. You meant the money line, right, for the Kings?
Yeah, I got it at plus 104 or something, and I'm seeing on Memphis' side now, I think plus 118, so you can already get some guaranteed money if you're into that.
Yeah, for sure. Arbitrage. Arbitration. I hope people know what that is when it comes to sports betting. But yeah, Bookie, appreciate the looks. Definitely some interesting ones with Giannis under his rebounds and Jalen Green under. You said points plus rebounds or points plus assists, Bookie?
Points plus rebounds.
Points plus rebounds, 29.5? 28.5
number better because you're getting a much better price compared to the minus 130.
Got you. Okay. And then Keegan Murray over his rebounds as well. Okay. Best of luck to you, Bookie. I hope you cash those, bro.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Denzel, kicking it to you, my guy. What's going on?
Not much, man. Had a couple plays, man. Last night, I'm at work right now, but last night I took the PRAs. I'm gonna bounce back to the rebounds and assists. I'm gonna take the under for Jalen Green. I took the under PRAs last night at 34.5. He's hit that number twice versus them, and I took threes for D'Angelo Russell. This team they're giving it up. All right, so he's hit 4 threes in back-to-back games versus this team. Houston, they're giving up everything to the point guard position. So I'm gonna take a stab at that. I've already taken a stab at that. And John Morant, man, I'm sad to see the news, but if John Morant plays, man, I've already took over 27.5 last night. Like this Kings team doesn't, stick no defense. He might end up posterizing a few people if he get past that, that first, second level tonight. So I'm really, I want to double down on that. He last two games they played, he had I think 33 points or better. So I'm willing to go up to 32 points with that. And that's about it. That's all I want to get out. Y'all covered a lot of the other picks that I said. So those are a couple picks right there that I was on.
Okay, D'Lo threes and Jalen Green under his points, rebounds, and assists. I like those looks, Denzel.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck to you, bro. I hope you cash him, man. Definitely hope you cash him. Let me see who else we got trying to share some looks real quick. Selfson, I think is how that's pronounced. Seifson? I probably butchered that. I don't even know if you connected. I tried to connect you. If you can hear me, you can share. But I don't think you connected. Anybody else got anything that they want to share? P. Let me get P up real quick, man. Hey P, can you hear me?
Yo, what's good, my boy?
What up, P? I posted your play up top, man. But talk to the people. What you got for today?
Hey man, I appreciate the love, man. That's the main lotto I'm running today, man. Little parlay. That's what I'm gonna roll. A little 7-leaguer, play for every game. They also got me, man. They got me doing this new thing, man, called straight betting. Chris, what you know about that, man? They got me keeping the lights on, man. Live betting. They got me doing new shit, man. I'm a parlay player. But I'm learning from my folks, man. Shout out Chef Mike, the whole Death Row, man. That guy Hibachi, I see y'all down. I learned a lot from y'all. But the 7-leg I'm riding tonight, man. I'm rolling with Franz Wagner to assist. He's been very consistent with that number. Drew Holiday, 15 points. John Collins, I know everybody been on his threes, so if he hit 2-3 threes, he could give me 10 points. Jalen Green, I watered him down to 2 threes. He's having a bounce back game against Minnesota. He only had 10 points that game, and we all know Ant-Man had 44. A lot of people don't know they was in the same high school class together, and Ant-Man actually got boosted up a year. He left a year early, so they low-key got a rivalry. So I think this is a Jalen Green bounce back spot. That's my personal opinion. So I took him for 2 threes, and I took his Filipino brother Jordan Clarkson for 2 threes as well. Back with consistency, Jeremy Grant for 15 points. And I'm a Kings fan. I got to throw my boy on there, Keegan Murray for 10. That little 7-leg will get you plus 430. Trying to go to the teller tonight, man.
I can hear that, P. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to go to the teller, man. I got a little 2-legger too. I created a little Discord, Chris, man. I ain't got no following like that, man. But just for the fuck of it, right? I took the Timberwolves and Rockets to go over 234, and I took the Grizzlies and Kings to go over 245. A little 2-legger plus 264.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm rocking with tonight, man.
All right. Best of luck to you, P. Best of luck, man.
Chris, I appreciate you every time I get a mic, my boy.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate you sharing the looks, man.
Best of luck tonight, too, boy.
Same to you, bro. Same to you. Seifson, I think is how you pronounce it. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I hear you right now.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing okay, man. What you got for the people?
I don't know, but I didn't hear y'all mentioning DeJounte Murray tonight. I like his points over. I don't know what it's at. I think it's at 21.5. Yeah, I like that. And also Jalen Green over his points. I think, as P said, it's a bounce back game, man. He will try his best to help his team get off the losing streak. And I also like the Hawks money line with DeJounte Murray over. Let me see. And Orlando Magic over 8.5. Let me see. Orlando Magic plus 8.5 points on the handicap. Yeah, that's
okay. Okay. A couple looks. Hawks money line. DeJounte over and Orlando plus the 8.5.
I wanna take the Rockets money line also. I don't know. I just don't think that they lose like 2 times in a row. They lost in Minnesota last night, or when was it?
On Friday night, yeah.
Yeah, Friday. I don't think they lose this one, or I think they should be able to cover the handicap spread at least with Jalen Green points over.
Okay. Jabari Smith Jr. did just get rolled out as well. So for people who may have may be looking at deadline, but appreciate the looks, man. I hope you cash those. I don't think you got anything that I'm not on, so anything that I'm on the opposite side of. So best of luck to you, man. I hope you cash those.
Yeah, thank you.
Casual, let me kick it to you, and then Vaughn, I'm coming to you. What up, Casual?
Yo, Chris, what's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Had a killer night on the Australian Open live betting Joker. Made stupid money. But we're on to basketball today. Have we talked about Derek White assists? I've been on the show, but I've also been in and out doing other things.
Yeah, somebody mentioned his double-double, Casual. No Marcus Smart, no Brogdon. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking too. I'm on his over 5.5 assists, which I think was still plus like 105 on FanDuel last time I checked. On the double-double, and then I also played his 10 points and his 8 assists. Like, I guess you could call it like a ladder play, kind of. And then I also played his 10 points and 6 assists. I played those each for a quarter unit, but I put a full unit on the over 5.5. So I guess I just more analysis on Derek White. I think I had one more for you. I'm on that plus 7.5 Orlando Magic with you too. Like, the Magic play the Celtics super well. Like, I think that was one of their early L's against the Magic, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
I definitely think they cover that 7.5, and I sprinkled on the money line. Like, again, just a quarter unit, but like, the NBA's been weird, dude.
That's a fact.
Like, you talked about it at the beginning, like crazy comebacks, favorites losing. It's been ridiculous. So I just sprinkled on it. I got it at plus 240. Shit, man, you never know what could happen with that game.
That's a fact. Okay. I couldn't talk you off of that. Okay. Best of luck to you tonight, Casual. I hope you cash it, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Great show as always.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, man. Let me kick it to Vaughn. Vaughn, you up here?
Yeah, bro. You hear me good?
Yeah, you good. What's going on?
I'm good, bro. So, really good weekend, basketball and football. Hit a couple parlays, couple same games. So, we up a few units, especially over the last few days. I'm with you on what you was talking about earlier, where the NBA has kind of been up and down. Somebody came in here a couple months ago, I think it was around Christmas time, and said, I think they had like a night where they went 6 for 6, and he was like, so tonight he played all his plays at like half unit, basically positive regression on himself. And that's kind of what I did tonight. So everything for me is a half unit. I went with Tatum rebounds and assists over 13.5. I think you already talked about that one. I went with Vucevic, points, rebounds, and assists at 32.5. I like the play. He's hit it in like 8 of his last 9, but also Billy Donovan came out and said, every time down, we want to get the ball down.
to the paint. So his usage has increased. So I really like that play. I went with the Hawks to win the first quarter as well. Chicago just left. They was in Paris. I think that was like 3 or 4 days ago now. Just like Atlanta actually been playing pretty good last week or so. Actually, because like 2-3 weeks ago when the John Collins shit first came out, Trey was going through it with Nate McMillan. They look like they actually want to play together, even though I think they about to blow that up. My last play is Sabonis 12 rebounds, parlayed with Josh Hart rebounds and assists at 11.5. If you play these two together, you get plus 166 on FanDuel. Sabonis is the only rebounding presence that Sacramento has. Josh Hart, very versatile player. His rebound usage is very high. I think he's one of the highest rebounding forwards, smaller forwards in the league. And then in the high-paced game with San Antonio, I love that line of 11.5. He's been rebounding the ball pretty well all season. I think that's a play that people really only look at when Portland is on like a small slate. I was able to kind of get a good look at Portland over the last couple of weeks, so that's something I've been kind of keeping my eye on. So the officials is Vucevic, 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Tatum rebounding assists at 13.5. Sabonis 12 rebounds, parlayed with Josh Hart rebounds and assists at 11.5. When you parlay those two together, you get plus 166. I played the latter on Jordan Clarkson threes. Charlotte horrible defensively. Just like a half unit in total for his ladder. So didn't get too crazy with the units or the unit sizes tonight. Kind of just want to sit back and watch a little bit tonight, man. I had a lot of money I bet over the weekend, so just looking tonight and then probably go back heavy at it Wednesday. Probably a light day for me tomorrow as well.
Okay. Yeah, I like you got a lot of sharp looks, I think, Vaughn. I hope you cash them, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at shooting guards right now, last 10 games. Last 7 games, like defense versus position. Look like the Jazz actually got the worst 3-point defense right now, last 7 games against shooting guards. I know Terry Rozier coming off a pretty big game against Atlanta, now having to travel to Utah in altitude, but Utah's giving up 5 threes a game over the last 7 games to shooting guards. And I'm not sure if they're going, how they're going to start, because he played point, he played shooting guard, he played all that. So him, Drew Holiday, Detroit giving up 3.87 threes, the most threes to point guards over the last 7 games. Orlando, which we cashed on Kuzma. I took Kuzma ladder on Saturday. If you guys had your notifications on, I saw that. Orlando giving up the most threes to small forwards. So I meant to mention that too. I'm not sure if it's going to be Tatum, if it's going to be Grant Williams, or if it's going to be Jaylen Brown. But somebody on Boston going to hit 4 threes tonight. The problem is you just don't get that much value because Jaylen Brown threes, I think the only one where you can actually get a little value on his. I think his 2.5, but Tatum's is at 3.5. So I could definitely see them hitting their threes tonight. And then I'm just kind of looking through while people were talking. I'm on Fantasy Pros for people interested. Let me see if I can get Al up real quick, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Al, can you hear me? Nah. Al, can you hear me? Sounds like nah, probably wouldn't let you connect. But yeah, that's the show, man. Hit the like button for me on the way out for show some appreciation for your guy. Real quick, what I told you guys I was on was Orlando plus a 7.5. Tatum, his rebounds plus assists over 13.5. The Spurs plus 9.5. I still like the plus 9. I think it's 8.5 now, but I think, like I said, I think the Blazers win the game. I just don't know if they do it by margin. They haven't covered a spread of this magnitude but twice in their last 12, 13 games, and one of those came against the Mavs. Both of them came against the Mavs. One of them was off the double overtime game that the Mavs that went to against the Lakers. So, some regression there. But then the second one was against the Mavs without Luka. So I like the Spurs plus 9.5. Also, Trey Jones over his 6.5 assists plus 122. I put a little bit on his 8 assists at plus 200 as well. And then Jakob Poeltl, 12.5 points. I put a little something on his 15. Anthony Simons over his 3.5 threes. Put a little something on his 5 as well at plus 250 earlier. So those are my top looks for the day. Back in the morning. I appreciate you guys for tapping in with me as always. Best of luck to everybody tonight. And in the show the same way I always do, man. None of this is financial advice. It's all, theory and logic and query and trends, running SDQLs, hours and hours of research and homework, man. So, show some love, man. Hit the like button on your way out. Appreciate you guys as always. Until we meet again, best of luck to you guys tonight.